you souls, I'm Mukta and you're watching The Sibyl Revealing Secrets, and today we'll be discussing the Temperance card. And as usual, I really expect and hope that you've already meditated with the card, jot down the points that according to you are the meanings of the card, and then you're watching the video. If you haven't, then please do that first and then be back. Watch this video till then. And if you have, then that's great, and let's begin. The meaning of temperance is moderation. Temperance is one of the 4 virtues of Christianity, which actually relates to either avoiding alcohol, so kind of abstinence from alcohol, or taking it only in moderation. So this card obviously talks about moderation as well. It is also a card of balance, coordination, cooperation. A card that talks about creating a cohesive combination of 2 very contrasting elements. It is also a card of healing and mending. Harmony, tempering and adaptation are also a few things that you can relate with this card. Although I personally take this card as testing the waters. So basically trying to check how things are going. So taking things in moderation, obviously, but in order to come to a decision. Kind of running a pilot. Not literally the pilot who flies the plane, but pilot is also a term that is used to test a few things. So running a pilot means running an experiment related to things that you plan on doing in future. So if you plan on bringing a particular change, or if you plan on releasing a few things, then doing it at a very small amount, at a very smaller scale at first, trying to check how it goes, trying to see how it's responded by the people who are involved, and then doing it in actual reality, or then whitening up the scope of it. Even if you look at the names of a lot of sitcom episodes, the first episode is generally the pilot one, which is generally released in order to check how the audiences respond to it. So that's exactly what I take as the temperance to be, but a lot of people would differ in this case, and we'll be talking about all those different interpretations as well. When it comes to me, if the question is about work-related stuff, then I would say that this situation is more or less like the probation situation. So the time duration that you get for the first 6 months, in many cases it's first 6 months, wherein you try to settle down in the company, wherein the company checks whether you are perfectly fitting the company's work culture and things like that. And you also check whether the company is able to give you what you are expecting out of your work environment. So basically you might be trying a new thing, or you might be getting introduced to various things, but you need to keep in mind to keep things in moderation. The things that you do right now are going to give expectations to people who witness you doing it or who are affected by your actions. And these expectations might be burdensome in future, or might make them underestimate your capabilities, and because of that you might not be correctly placed in the future, or you might not be treated the way you deserve in the future. So ensure that you are putting your best foot forward, but not literally giving your 100% at all times, because you cannot be doing your 100% all the time. 24/7/52. So don't show things that you cannot do on a continuous and daily basis. Same is the case when I talk about a love relationship. This is kind of the initial phase, or when you're trying to contemplate whether to enter into a relationship or not, and you're trying to imagine how the future will be, which would help you decide whether to go ahead or not with a relationship. And in that particular time, a lot of us make the mistake of going out of our way to impress the other person, which builds that kind of expectation in the mind of the other person. And when 7 to 8 months down the line in the relationship, if you're not able to put in that much of efforts, or if you're not able to give in those many things, then we disappoint the other person and invite problems. So give only those expectations to people that you can meet. When we talk about spirituality, again, you need to consider it in moderation. Do not focus a lot on your spirituality alone and leave other aspects of your life just clueless, empty, or unattended or neglected. If you do so, there will be a point of time in your life wherein you'll require to give a lot of attention, efforts, and energy into the other parts of your life, because of which you will not find any time at all towards your spirituality, because of which you might totally lose it, or you might have to put all those efforts again in order to reach the same level that you had already reached a few months or few years back. Now let's look at the symbolisms of the Temperance card from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Over here we are able to see the Archangel Michael, who is standing at a really beautiful scenic place. He has his one foot on the ground and one foot in water. He has two cups in his hand and he's blending water in these two cups. This particular image is considered to be representative of passing knowledge from subconscious to conscious, because the land is considered to be the conscious mind and the water is considered to be the subconscious mind, because we do not know a lot about what's going on inside it. We can only look at it from the surface level. Whereas when we talk about land, we are able to see everything that is going on it, and hence we are able to relate that a lot with our conscious mind. We know what thoughts are going on in our conscious mind, but a lot of things that are there in our subconscious mind are hidden to us, similar to the sea life, especially back in that particular time. His wings are outstretched. Generally, an angel or any particular creature who has wings, when they are on one particular spot, standing on one spot and have no intentions to fly, they wrap their wings back. So the wings get attached to the back. So they are either not really visible or at least not very clearly or properly visible at that particular stage. They generally spread their wings out when they want to fly. So the spread out wings are interpreted by few people as being alert of what is happening in spite of doing this particular job with full concentration. And in case of any particular happening that's kind of not expected or not desired, then the Temperance is ready to react or respond to it immediately. Whereas the more popular belief behind those outstretched wings is that because the Temperance is not having good enough balance from the feet, which is why he has outstretched the wings in order to maintain a proper body balance. We can also say that this angel is very, very humble. He has the wings, so he has the capability and the liberty to fly, but he does not choose to do so at all times. Right now, he's standing with one foot on the land and one foot in the water, which would kind of tell us that he is down to earth. He is very much connected to its roots as well, and hence we can say that he is really humble. The card depicts all four elements that are recognized in tarot. One being air, it is depicted by the wings of the Archangel. Second, being water, we are able to see some water over here, so obviously that's there. Third being earth, so the land and the flowers, the plants and all, so they are able to represent earth. And the fourth element, which is the fire, we are able to see the fire symbol on the chest of the angel. So it kind of tells us that it is very important to have all these elements in proper proportion, in proper balance in order to keep the world going. If we look at the background, we are also able to see a golden crown over the mountains, which kind of depicts the angel's mastery over water and earth. That's it from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Now let's look at the symbolisms of the Temperance card from the Shadowscapes deck. It is a very beautiful card that very nicely depicts a perfect blending of contrasting forces. We are able to see this dragon who's very much depicting a lot of cold, icy cold winter sort of thing, and this phoenix who's representing a really hot, flamey summer, kind of like the heat of the sun, and these two are constantly quarreling. This is a never-ending battle of the heat and the cold, which is very carefully watched by this angel over here. She has a ball over here that is very similar to the yin and yang symbol, and as soon as she is able to see that one of the forces is gaining more power or more strength, she sends more power to the other force, so that this particular quarrel is never ending. There's no particular winner. Because overall in the world we are able to see that if we have too much of water, then that is also highly destructive, and too much of fire will obviously burn everything out. And hence, having both in proper balance is required. When both come together in a proper proportion, in a proper balance, then it brings life to the world. So it is very important to have a proper balance, a harmonious one. The card depicts various opposite forces in balance. We obviously saw about the hot and cold. There's also masculine and feminine, and you also have all four elements of tarot in this card as well. So we are able to see fire, we are able to see water, we are able to see air in the wings, and we are able to see earth in the branch. So again, talking about balance, even the symbol of yin and yang is a huge representation of balance and harmony. So all in all, the card talks about the importance of not letting one extreme force cancel out or destroy another extreme force, because either of those, when left on their own without the other opposite end, then they can really bring a lot of chaos and destruction. So even in ourselves, we need to be sure that we are not following any extreme path. We do not let any one particular quality in us overpower itself. Remember that saying that anything in extreme is bad. That's the message that we can take away from this card as well. That's it from the Shadowscapes deck. Now let's discuss what would be the meaning of a reverse temperance card. Because the upright temperance means balance, the reversed would mean chaos to me. It also means dysfunction because of the skewness that has come into picture. Incapability or lack of readiness can also be one of the interpretations of a reversed temperance card. In some extreme situations, a reversed temperance can also mean rejection or repulsion. So look out for the cards that surround the temperance in your particular spread, and consider the situation or the question that has been given, and then give your take on to this particular thing. So I hope that these different interpretations were of help to you in coming up with your own interpretation of the temperance card, and if they were, then please don't forget to hit the like button, because that will let me know that I'm doing a good job. If you have any suggestions as to how can I do my job better, then please write down in the comments below. Also mention your own meaning of the card in the comments below. I always advise to try and relate the meaning of the card with your life experiences or your surroundings, and if you're able to do that, then letting us know would help us all grow and practice it in our life. Share this video with someone who would be interested in knowing more about the temperance card, and if you are interested in knowing about different interpretations of different tarot cards, then do subscribe to the channel, because I come up with different interpretations of one tarot card every weekend. So I'll see you next weekend. Till then, bye-bye, take care and stay curious.